Come on in, come on up, come on over for the merriest time of year. Come on up, come on in, get together for a good time. Smile, my dear. Come on in, come on up, come on over. We'll be dancing round the tree. So let us have a swinging Christmas, just like 1, 2, 3. We know the time is short, we blink and then it's gone. So we better make the most of what we've got. So take your neighbor by the hand and join the dance parade before the clock strikes and it's all too late.
Hello, everyone. Hi, my name is Francis Ames, and I'm the Crafty Entrepreneur. Welcome. I am so excited to be here. Please, by any chance, tell me where you guys are calling, where you guys are viewing this. So I am the instructor that's showing how to make rhinestone designs with your Cricut Joy. You can make so many amazing projects with your Cricut Joy, and rhinestone designs are just one of them. So I know there's been some questions about what got me started doing making rhinestones. I always love bling, as you can see. Love, love, love bling. And I wanted an easier way to do it. I started watching a lot of YouTube videos, and I just didn't like the idea of placing each and every individual rhinestone. I'm like, who really has time for that? I don't. It's beautiful. Maybe it's relaxing for some people. I just wanted to be done, right? I mean, that's why I have a Cricut machine, right? So I can just don't have to cut things with my scissors, right? So I started doing some research, and I came across a young woman. Her name is Danny. Okay. And Distinctive Designs by Danny. And she was teaching people how to create rhinestone designs with your Cricut machine. And she was also teaching how to actually create designs, SVG designs. And she sells the rhinestones. So I was like, I'm all on board. I paid her to teach me how to make rhinestone designs and whatnot. And we still communicate every month, once a month, part of her quote unquote bling hive. And so now I just love it. And I'm always sharing stuff with the group, her group, things that I've continued to learn, and all the different softwares that are out there to create rhinestones. Some people tend to gravitate one towards the other. So how long ago? It's been now a little over a year that I started actually making my own rhinestone designs. Prior to that, I used to buy shirts and t-shirts and things like that actually had designs on them with rhinestones. And for t-shirts, I paid at least $35. Mugs. I mean, if you go and look on Etsy for a rhinestone tumbler, you're going to find it easily for $65. And t-shirts are usually $35 and up, depending on how many designs. So if it's like a shirt with a person's face, that might be $60. So I don't have to pay for that. I don't have to pay those prices. I can do it just a tiny little fraction. Even if I sell one shirt, I could probably make back the money I made on my supplies. So I'm like, I'm all in. I'm all in. So that's what got me going. Okay, so the question here says, downloading had positioning for the rhinestone. I was wondering, do we need a graphic for the vinyl wording that goes under the rhinestones? I didn't see it. Okay. All right. So I think I got an email about that, a couple of emails about that. For some reason, I don't know why I didn't upload. I will later on today, after I get off this live, I'm going to go back to the same link, and I'm going to put a separate file just for the vinyl. Okay. I want to make sure you guys have the vinyl that says Happy Holidays. So just to get you an idea, this is how it will look. It's very small, okay? Not very large. If you just want to get started and you're not sure if you want to dabble in it, I would say get the rhinestones, the hot pick rhinestones. These are not the same as the flat back. Get yourself a wax pencil or tweezers, and at least get cardstock and, of course, the transfer tape, okay? you're going to hot fix transfer tape. I'm sorry, that's a little bit different. Hot fix transfer tape. You can get it on Amazon for $1 or $2, the transfer tape, and get your packet from a hot fix rhinestones from one of the reputable vendors that I put linked in the workshop guide. Okay, so there are different sizes of rhinestones. All right. SS10 is the most common, so I would say start off with getting a crystal clear rhinestones. Okay, crystal clear rhinestones. There's AB and there's crystal. Here's the clear one. Okay. I love it. AB looks a little bit different, as you can see here. I don't know if you can see, but light's reflecting. If you cut it out of cardstock, this is how it's going to look. Obviously, if I put this on my desk and put the rhinestones in there, it's going to move around. It's not going to stay in the hole. So put this back on your Cricut mat. Okay, on your green Cricut mat. The stickiness of the mat will keep the cardstock in place, and then you can put your rhinestone. Obviously, once you pull back your hot fix transfer tape, this might get damaged because it's cardstock, and it is 85-pound cardstock. Use what you have in your house. The color doesn't matter. Just use what you have. Okay. Now, if you want to get into the business of making rhinestones, I'm serious. You can make this on a bag. You can put this on a wine bag and just put this on here. Okay. So I like to do that with a velvet one. That's what I'm going to do this year. I'm going to put these on velvet wine bags and give these as, gifts. You can make stickers out of these, rhinestone stickers as well. Just a thought. You just need to get a special material for that. And then those who sign up for the rhinestone course will learn how to do that. I'm going to give you an example of what you can do with the rhinestone course, fonts course. Okay, it says scrapbook girl. Look at that. Now tell me if you cannot start a business just creating really fun sayings. Okay, and if you don't want to get into design, you don't have time for that, there are plenty of vendors that sell beautiful designs. A lot of vendors. You can do Etsy, Creative Fabrica. Yes, Creative Fabrica, which is one of the sponsors here for this summit. I've gotten some great designs from Creative Fabrica. When I first started, I used to buy my designs. Now I can design my own, which is a whole new world. And so you guys are going to get one rhinestone font, which is like the Disney style. And I've decided to put a second one so that you can make something like this with the nice bold fonts. Okay. You can put a sports teams. Oh my goodness. Sports teams. You can create decals. Decals are basically rhinestone stickers, and make that as a fundraiser for schools. If you have a business logo, hello. And there are plenty of people who will design a logo. And if you need me to create like a rhinestone design specifically for you, we can definitely send me a private message with that. Mm-hmm. How do you know if I have the right size, the stones? Okay, so SS10 stones, they are specific millimeter. So I'm just looking at my notes. I believe it's 6 millimeters. Sorry, I'm in the US. So those of you who are use the metric system, I do apologize. But when you actually go and resize the hole, you're going to use 0.133 is the exact size for an SS10 stone. And you do get a chart, and I do have that in the workbook. So everybody who signed up for the summit, even if it's the free one, will get the workbook. And in that workbook, of course, you do have the sizing. So when you go to Cricut Design Space, you're going to look at this, make a little circle shape, and you're going to make sure that's 0.133. I like to make my template size hole 1.135 to make sure that the SS10 stones fall right into the template. Okay. There's SS6. You can just resize the circles on the design, or if you made to make larger rhinestones, SS12 or higher, like 16, then you would actually make it a little bit larger. For those who do sign up, who actually signed up for this summit and bought the VIP pass, I'm actually offering the Rhinestones Fonts course for absolutely free. That's right, free is for me, right? So it's going to launch at the end of this month. okay? Because there's a couple of summits that I've been promoting this program, and I want to make sure I have a nice big cohort because I'm going to go live. I have a couple of sessions every week. I'm going to go live to answer your questions. I don't want to just give you the files and say, good luck. I want to be able to support you so that you feel confident and can use these files, this technique with any files that you get, whether you buy it from me or another vendor. You know how to make rhinestone designs and you can just whip a lot of things up. Now, here's the really cool thing that I got. Look at this. Isn't this adorable? I know the light's a little bright. This is a headband. Okay, look at that. You can make your own headband, bows, pens, tumblers. Just a fun fact, I moved on July 3rd into this new place. So not all my supplies are here, but I do have my rhinestone supplies because I wanted to make sure I created some rhinestone stuff. But it's been very, very interesting. My Cricut Joy, I think, is in storage, so I have to go find that machine. But I do have my maker here and my Explorer. So this is fantastic. All right, so the question here is flock similar to the thick felt, or is it a paper product? Good question. It is not the same as regular flock, and it is not stencil either. So let me show you an up close how it looks. All right, it has a totally different, totally different consistency. It feels soft like a felt. If you've ever bought jewelry trays where you can put your rings in, it's the same kind of felt feeling on the top, but it's a sticky back. So that way, when you put it on a flat surface, whether it's a table, it doesn't move around, okay? So you can just use your rhinestones directly on it. So it's not the same as regular felt. I've tried regular felt because someone else asked me, hey, can I just use regular felt? You can try it. It did not work for me. So here's a tip. I'm going to give you guys a tip. Here's a cookie sheet. This is great. You can do a cookie sheet. If you have magnets, magnetic sheets, they sell them. They even sell them at like your local hardware store, those magnetic sheets, or you can buy them off of Amazon. You can cut magnetic sheets and put it on a cookie sheet and it'll keep in place. So that's really fun. I'm going to start playing with that and see how I do that. So you can cut out your letters, and then you can create names. So you can personalize book bags or shirts or tumblers. Can I cut the template out of a thin plastic, like a plastic folder? I have, okay, so I can cut it on plastic. Well, it's going to be the same as if you were to cut it out of cardstock, right? It's not going to have the sticky back. So I would put the plastic, like you have for plastic folder, is going to be a different cut setting. So if you already know what your cut setting is for those plastic folders, then definitely put this on your Cricut mat because it needs to have something sticky so that the template doesn't move around. But yeah, go ahead and use your plastic folder for that. That's a great idea, and it's sturdy, and you can probably just store it. Okay, so what I do and how I store my items is these irises, and of course I keep extras here because I can still make letters, right? And I keep my sheets. The transfer tape looks a little bit different here. All right, and it is reusable. You can use this hot fix transfer tape up to 3 times, maybe more. I definitely reuse it, and it's very inexpensive, like $1 to a foot, and they sell them like 3 feet. So you're not going to spend like a lot of money on this. Especially, you can get it off of Amazon. The one from Amazon does work. So, to make stickers, okay. This it? No, this is vinyl. Okay, so like I have my recycled ones. What is the pencil used for? Okay, very good question. So the wax pencil, which mine just fell, allows you to pick up the rhinestones and help it for placement. So maybe you've got all your rhinestones in place, but you're missing that one little, that one stubborn rhinestone that's out of place. Instead of trying to just move it all around, the pencil will actually pick it up. If you don't have a wax pencil, but you have tweezers, use your tweezers. It works the same. So that's what the wax pencil is for. There's different brands out there that they use for non-hot fix rhinestones, like Catalina. You don't need anything fancy like that. A wax pencil works. Heavy, again, is going to be the same. Can you use heavy stencil? Yes, you can. You can use heavy stencil. The problem with heavy stencil, well, you're talking about heavy stencil, not the regular stencil. I've never tried the heavy stencil, to be honest with you. Regular stencils, I'm just concerned that it's kind of floppy and it might shift or stretch. Just like, you know, cardstock, it's temporary versus, I mean, I guess this could stretch and break, but I feel like it tends to be a little bit, the flock tends to be a little bit more forgiving. And it's very easy to store. You can roll it up and it'll still keep its shape because of the stickiness. That's why I recommend the flock. Okay. So yeah, you can try it with the stencil. Again, every stencil thickness has its own cut settings, but if you are familiar with that material and you know the cut settings that you need to have, I would recommend, if you're using a heavy stencil, use multiple cuts for that. These are great questions. How many of you are actually going to make this? I'm just curious. It says, how do you protect the shirt in the laundry? Great question. Okay, so I will turn this shirt inside out and wash it, just like I would wash my other t-shirts. You know, I don't put bleach or any fabric softeners. I just wash it like I would my regular laundry. You can put this on dry tumble or light tumble, because remember, the rhinestone has an adhesive in the back that is activated with heat. So if you're putting it on high settings in the dryer, it's going, some of the rhinestones may fall out. Okay, so that's the challenge of that. However, you can low tumble, let it dry that way, or you can hang dry it. Sometimes I'm like a little lazy and I kind of throw it in there, but that's the best way to actually maintain it, is actually turning it inside out, washing it and drying it along low tumble in the dryer, or hang dry it. And that will give it the longest lasting life. And how long it would last is just as long as your fabric. How long with the stones on after the setting? There you go. I just answered it. So depending on how you take care of it. Okay. If you didn't press it long enough with the heat press, so if you're using an iron, so I'm just going to give you examples. If you're using an iron versus a small heat press versus an Cricut auto press, each press has, you know, there's different levels of evenness where the heat distribution of the press, you know, of the press. So the mini press has a small little area, right, that it actually has heat to press on the fabric. The regular, so usually the edges of the regular hand press tends to be not as hot as the middle, and then the auto press tends to be the most stable. So just keep that in mind when you're making when you're pressing this. If you're using the mini versus the iron, you may have to press it a little bit longer. If not, the rhinestones may fall off. So that's the only thing, and then the care of it will actually determine how long you do it. Just keep making, make stuff for yourself. I'm going to make one. I'm going to make a beach bag with some rhinestones. So I'm excited about that. I'm not even worried about it. I know I can wash it and not be concerned about it. It tends to be pretty sturdy. It takes a couple of many washes actually. Again, it's how you take care of it and how long you were able to make sure that the rhinestone is set properly onto the fabric. Canvas, obviously, it's a little thicker than cotton. So that tends to be the and that's part of the learning process. You're a bit confused. Sorry, Ruth. How do the stones just stick with the heat press, do you need to put something on it to make them stick before pressing? Right. Okay. So the rhinestone itself, that's why it's called a hot fix rhinestone. The hot fix meaning it will fix with heat because there's an adhesive in the back of the rhinestone that is activated. So the adhesive is activated. Excuse me. The adhesive is activated. The adhesive is activated with heat. I don't know why I had trouble saying that. So that's what makes it stay to the fabric. Now, how to transfer the rhinestones from the rhinestone design onto the fabric, that's where the heat transfer tape comes in. Similar if you were to use regular vinyl tape, right? You use a transfer tape over the vinyl to then put that onto your flat surface, whether it's a tumbler or a notebook, right? You're going to use the hot fix transfer tape. It's different from the regular transfer tape that you would use with regular vinyl. So it's a hot fix transfer tape. That's going to pick up all the rhinestones together, so you don't have to pick and move each individual rhinestone. Then you're going to set that onto your fabric, and then you're going to press the heat onto the design, onto the transfer tape. And then once it's done, you just peel back the transfer tape and the design stays on the fabric. It's really that simple. So the first step is cutting out your template. Next is putting in your rhinestones, putting your heat transfer tape, and then pressing that onto your fabric. Can you mix and match the different size stones in the same design? Does that cause an issue with the heating of different stones? Okay, Erin, that is a great question. So depending on the size of the stone, if you're using, I said the most common size is SS10. If you're using an SS6, you use less time to heat set your stones. If you're using an SS12 or a 16, it takes more time for you to heat press your stone so it can actually activate the adhesive on the back of it. So the template is designed, okay, you can see that, the holes, okay. If I were to resize it on Cricut Design Space, the holes, right, the little circles are going to change in diameter, the size, right? So if you resize the design, if you resize, let's say, the tree, then you determine whether it's going to be an SS6 or an SS12, depending on the size of the little holes, the little circles. Okay, so that is in the workbook, the size of the circles. So you can resize if you want to make this tree a little bit larger because, I don't know, you want to make a larger design. You can do that. And then you're going to pick the rhinestone size that would fit your new template size. But each individual rhinestone, so this is all one block, right? This is all one design. So that's how you would resize it. I hope that makes sense. And if you guys have questions, please ask me them now because I want to make sure you guys are clear. The size that I give you in your workbook is how to properly size your template so your SS stones will fit directly in there. So you don't have to figure that out. In the course, I go more into detail on how to resize it so it can go from a SS10 to an SS6 and SS12 and an SS16. So that goes a little bit more in depth into it. We only have like 20 minutes to show you how to make a design, and it works just fine with the template that I provided you. All right, Ruth wants to know, would HTV backing work on the hot fix transfer tape? Okay. So good question. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to put the heat transfer vinyl first. You're going to press that onto your shirt. All right, that could be like 10 seconds. You're going to press that. Then you're going to go and peel off the carry sheet of the HTV. Then you're going to put your rhinestones on top of that, and then you're going to heat press that. So you're not going to press the rhinestones directly onto the HTV with the carrier sheet. You want to remove the carrier sheet before you press the rhinestones. I hope that kind of makes sense. I hope I read the question correctly. All right, so the next question we have here is from Sandra. You can sub rhinestones with holographic vinyl by using Silhouette Studios to convert the images to small circles. Yes. Okay, I think I get what you're saying. All right. So let's say you don't have rhinestones, but you have holographic holographic vinyl or glitter vinyl, glitter HTV vinyl. You can go ahead, cut it out, cut all the little circles out, and you can heat press that directly on it. And I usually would do that for really small children, like 2 years old up to school age. I make sure that I don't put rhinestones on their clothing because I'm afraid they're going to swallow it. So I would use like holographic, that would be really cute, or I would use HTV glitter vinyl. And it looks like if it's rhinestone, but it's flat, it's not going to come off, and it's safe. As far as resizing, can you resize this in Silhouette Studio? Absolutely, because Silhouette Studio, if you get like the designer or the business edition, you can create your own rhinestone template. It's kind of a new world for us Cricut users because Cricut Design Space doesn't have the ability to create a regular SVG pattern directly into a rhinestone pattern. So you would have to use another software system to create actual designs from scratch. But yes, absolutely, Silhouette Studio will allow you to adjust that. And same thing with Cricut Design Space. You can adjust the size of your rhinestone. You know, you can definitely do that on Cricut Design Space with the design. These are great questions. Please keep it rolling because I know there's a lot of questions. If you're wondering about this thing, I use this in the video. Okay. It's actually a paintbrush. Okay. It's called a corner paintbrush, but it works beautifully in trying to put the rhinestones in place. And by just doing a little circular motions, the rhinestones will fall directly into the template to make things easy peasy. Ruth, can you remove the HTV carrier sheet be reused instead of purchasing the heat transfer tape? Everything is expensive where I am and always difficult to get. Okay, let me think about this. I've never tried that. I'm trying to think of an inexpensive way to do that. Let me think here. What would actually work? I'm trying to think. I think someone said they tried painter's tape. Don't quote me. I have never tried it. I think someone said they tried painter's tape, but that's a lot of painter's tape, and I'm concerned that everything's going to shift. I wonder if you can use regular heat transfer tape. I did try to use regular transfer tape, and it didn't work for picking up the rhinestones. So I'm trying to think what would work in outside of that particular. I'm not sure. Now, again, the transfer tape isn't expensive on Amazon. And right now we're in Prime Day, so you can probably get it even cheaper. They do sell, well, because there's some kits out there that don't have it. But you can get the transfer tape, like I said, on Amazon, and I've seen it for $1 a foot, so for $3, and it's reusable. So that is the least expensive thing that you can get, and then the rhinestones are between $7 and $8, and you want to get the ones that says 10 gross. You find a lot of vendors out there that sell it like 1 gross or 2 gross. It's way too expensive. If they're not selling it at 10 gross, that means it's 1,440 rhinestones. They're probably overcharging you. Okay, so make sure you take a look at that. Now, again, there's a lot of out there. There's tumblers. I know I have templates out there on how to cut for different tumblers. Again, that's a great money maker for you. Would press, okay, let me see here. I think that's Brie. Would press and seal possibly work? I have not tried that. And the reason why I'm concerned about these other alternatives, and I'm going to tell you why. Number one, if you're paying for heat impress and all these different other materials that I've already tried, it didn't work, you're wasting money. For that, you might as well pay $3, $3 or $4, and get the heat transfer tape. It'll be cheaper. I promise you, it'll be cheaper. The press and seal, I'm concerned is that it has to pick up the full design together. Okay, that's the key. It has to pick up the full design together. And regular transfer tape doesn't even do that. Unless, you know what you could probably try? Maybe the strong grip transfer tape. I have not tried it. I do have some strong transfer tape for some really heavy materials. I rarely ever use it. But I would, if I had to try something, that would be my next step. Maybe trying the strong grip transfer tape. And I know if you buy Cricut, they would come with its own sheet of strong grip tape. Lucille, do you have a rhinestone program? Okay. So when you say rhinestone program, you're saying, do I sell rhinestones, or do you saying, do I teach rhinestones? Yes, I do teach how to make rhinestone products. So there's one out there. It's called Rhinestone Creations. It tells you how to, I give you multiple patterns. One is how to make a rhinestone pen, how to do a 20-ounce tumbler wrap, and then how to do a shirt design. So it's those three things, and how to use your rhinestones for fabric, and how to also apply the rhinestones for decals, how to make stickers out of them. So you get multiple patterns in there, where to source your rhinestones, and also tools, free online tools where it helps you how to price your products. So I'm revamping it and creating rhinestone fonts, which is just going to focus on how to make, this kind of product where it says scrapbook and girl, and you can make it on your own. So once you finish, you're going to have two types of fonts. One is the typable font. One is an SVG font. They're completely different. They're just, how to reshape them and everything is going to be completely different. But I'm going to show you how to use both of them. So I'm going to give you one, and then you're going to be able to download another one for free. And so you can start making money from these rhinestone designs. And again, like I said, just pay $8, get white crystal. If you're starting out, just get crystal clear. That's like $8, $7, $8. And the transfer tape, you might spend $3 to $4, $12. That's it. And most people have tweezers, so there you go. And then you can start getting make all your money back if you want to sell these. And these I think go for $10. So this is one I made. Isn't that pretty? And this is a gel pen, so I have them in different colors. Yeah. And here's the thing, like I can put this, look at this design, right? So this is the shirt that I have, right? This is the design I gave you guys. It says Happy Holidays. I can make this into a window cling, like a sticker, and put it as on a window. That's a wrap, guys. Okay, thank you so much. You can send me an email. Again, it's craftyentrepreneurs@academy.podia.com. And thank you so much, and hope to see you soon in my course. Bye.